What's up, party people, and welcome to the first T.E.G. review. I have just returned from seeing The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm sure you've seen it. Well, seen trailers, you know. I got an early screening with my family due to Odeon Screen Unseen, so shout out to them. Only a £5, great value, but you don't know what film you're going to see, that's the point. Wow, it was a masterpiece. I've got some notes down on my phone that I'll refer to throughout. It was just something else. It was a long film, like 2 hours 20, I want to say, or just over. It blew us all away, most definitely. Yeah, a little bit speechless actually. It was so good. In this review and future reviews, I'm going to be rating the film on 4 separate criteria, and that firstly is hotness, and that is cinematography and sound design. How good does that mofo look and sound? 2 is talking and moving, which is acting. How good was it? Was it staring at a brick wall, or was it like that you were there? Threading, which is does it tell an effective and immersive story, if that's its goal? So basically, am I leaving fulfilled or with too many loose ends to count? And 4 is, should Leonardo DiCaprio get an Oscar for this? Going through it, hotness, I'll be doing it. I'll number it like out of 10 or 5 or stars or whatever. I mean, that's a really old way of rating things that you really shouldn't do anymore. It's kind of archaic, but I'm gonna conform and, you know, do what everyone else does. Hotness, I'm putting it up there with, I'm gonna say straight 10. I'm gonna go straight 10. Alejandro Inarritu, what a director. He did last year's Birdman, which, as you may or may not know, got Best Picture. Because it was basically one just continuous shot, which was astounding for an entire film that's like 2 hours. In this one, it could be called a work of art for its visuals. They are ridiculous. Obviously filmed, it's probably like 1820s that the film is set. Like explorers, you know, North America with the natives and, you know, that kind of thing. And if any spoilers come up, by the way, I'll put some on the screen, just mute it, and then I'll put some up again that says spoilers are gone. That's if I accidentally step in. I shouldn't, I won't. It could be called a work of art. Like, it looks so good. So good. There's just some scenes where, actually, you know what, I'm gonna add another little moments. I'm gonna review moments, like the moments that really stood out in the film. I'm gonna add that there. There's so many parts where, so many scenes in which there's so much going on in the background, and like the extras worked hard in this film, genuinely, to die, no spoilers, come on, to work, like stripping pelts, and just, there's a lot of work for extras in the background of this film, and like those that have like one line, they're just like kind of shoved in there. The sweeping and continuous shots were so similar to Birdman and yet so different in tone, just at the same time. To be honest, that type of filming is gonna go down in history, I think, as kind of Inarritu's style. Like, his filmmaking is defined by those sweeping shots, almost continuous. There's so many scenes where one thing's happening and then, like in Birdman, it goes to another actor, and then, oh, another actor walks past and it swaps, and it's still one continuous shot, but that's how it works, just like a crossover. And it's so good in this film. It works really, really well. Like, the way that some of the shots are framed, I didn't know such beautiful places existed on Earth. Like, it's ridiculous. When you see this film, you'll realise the beauty. Like, even though it's quite a dark film, it's quite brutal, but how wondrous some of the places are, and you kind of get a feel for how that was the Native Americans' land, and it was amazing, and how the American explorers obviously there were Brits as well. There were from all over the place, French. You know, everyone was colonising it throughout that period, and how it kind of they did take everything. You kind of emotionally, you feel that. You really feel that. I have to say, no film has made me feel so many mixed emotions, like triumph, grief, like sadness, like, or just so many emotions that you will really feel, unless you're a totally cold-hearted SOB. Like, if that's who you are, you won't feel anything during this film, but you should, naturally. It looks beautiful, and it's sound design. Oh, that's another thing. It sounds realistic, like they've done no work on the sound. Like, that is actually it. It's like some Inarritu has gone, oh, there's a fire. Get a fireproof microphone, whack it in there. Oh, people are walking through snow. Whack snowproof microphones on their shoes. Get that going. Oh, someone gets shot. Put a microphone right next to that and shoot him. Like, it sounds how you would expect it to, and it sounds so realistic and like you're there. It's crazy. Like the trudging through snow, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. The crackling of fires, the water, rapids and things like that, rivers. It sounds like you're there, and I hope you still get that kind of level at home when you're watching it. But I have to say, just the cinematography and the sound, it is truly a cinema experience. Like, all the hype around it, it's not just hype. It's such a good film, and I just hope that at home it makes me feel how it did when I saw it in the cinema, which might be hard to do. You probably need like a good TV for it, but necessarily might not. If the film's that good, you don't need a good TV to, you know, have that portrayed. But yeah, it's a beautiful looking film. The design that went into it and the work is ridiculous, and as a director, Inarritu has nailed it completely. Contender for Best Picture, I'd say, again. I want to say the film is ridiculously brutal. Violence in movies doesn't typically make me cringe in any way. This film, oh my goodness, cringe fest. So many things happen to so many people, and you're just like, oh my goodness. That is because it looks so real. The special effects department, I suppose it would be, maybe not CGI, but like makeup department and prosthetics, ridiculous work. How well they did. They must have looked at actual wounds sustained by like the explorers of the Americas, and also just those injuries sustained by those particular weapons, and it's done brilliantly, and it makes you wince. Like, oh, you could feel that, like, you know that's a kill shot, or you know that is gonna hurt a lot. Like, such a good job with that. Such a good job with that. Like, it's ridiculous. On to number 2, which is talking and moving. Acting was top class. I couldn't fault it. Some actors in there who I'll need to look up because I don't remember their names. I've seen them in plenty of things, but the main two, Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy, you've seen this in trailers, I'm not spoiling it for you. Kind of a villain. And then you've got Leonardo DiCaprio who is on this. He becomes this revenant, this dark kind of vengeful spirit, I suppose you'd call it. Wanting revenge for his son. That's all I'll say. Revenge for something that may have happened to his son. I'll put a spoiler thing back there. Spoilers are coming up. Little bit of thing. Storyline. If you haven't seen the trailer, you'll know, and you'll be going along with this. Basically, he gets left for dead because something happens to him. I'm not going to say what. By Tom Hardy, and Tom Hardy also kills his son. He isn't quite dead, and then goes following him for a real long time. Maybe not time, but like a fair way to get his revenge. That's his ultimate goal. That's in the trailer. Cool. Spoilers done. For now. So, talking and moving back to the acting, was great. Leonardo DiCaprio, a bit like a Mad Max, the role that Tom Hardy had in Mad Max, doesn't actually say as much as you'd expect him to. It's very much going back to that kind of base level of acting that's almost like charades. Or charades, however you want to say it. I realise I just said it really poshly. And it goes back to basically a lot of movement, grunting. There's parts in the film where he is physically exerting himself as an actor, like ridiculously so, and it makes you believe that he is that character and he is doing that to achieve his ultimate goal, and like dragging himself or acting. There's a part where it's in the trailer, but spoiler if you haven't watched the trailers, just mute it now. Okay. Part of the trailer where he gets attacked by a bear. In the film, he gets attacked by a bear, but the fact is there's no real bear there. Naturally, he looks real good and almost like a real bear, but he's getting dragged about and tossed about, and as an actor, that's going to be a difficult scene. There's literally nothing there. There's going to be some context and something grabbing you, more than likely, but he is throwing himself around and he's being injured, and he looks terrified and tired and in pain, and you believe that. And that kind of acting is crazy. He doesn't have to say anything. You can just see it on his face that he is tired. He is in pain. He needs to get out of this. Like, just the emotion is there without him having to say anything whatsoever. I'm not saying he doesn't say anything throughout the film, just that he's not saying an awful lot. Obviously, there's native tongue pops out, but the acting's really good, especially for Tom Hardy. He might be up for Best Supporting Actor. Also, I didn't realise Domhnall Gleeson is in it. If you've seen Star Wars, he's General Hux in that. He's also in Ex Machina from last year. Ginger guy, part of the Gleeson acting family, but he's in it. Had no idea, as a captain, and so good in it. He really is a great character, and I really loved him in the film. I thought he'd just be there like a little bit. He's there a bit more, like, and so good in it. So good in it. You've also got Leonardo DiCaprio's son, whose name is Forrest Goodluck, so definitely Native American. Also a good actor, a lot of emotion. I reckon he could go quite far, really. It's just that the fact that Native American actors are kind of almost a niche market, which is a bit of a shame, really. I'm glad that they got a hell of a lot for this movie. They're clearly all Native American. They're not like, oh, they're brown, let's whack him in here and put some feathers on. Like, authentic through and through. Speaking their native tongue, and it's great. It works perfectly. Will Poulter plays a character called Bridger. You may have seen him in the Maze Runner. He's also, I just now remembering him as the annoying little cousin Eustace, I think it is, from the third Chronicles of Narnia film, Voyage of the Dawn Treader. He's gone a long way since that. In this, he's so good. Such good acting comes from him in this film. You really feel the struggle that he has. I won't tell you what, but the struggle that he has, you feel that, and you kind of your heart goes out to him a little bit. Well, it really goes out to him, and that's the sign of good acting, that it really pulls you into the film and that universe. All in all, acting is ridiculously good. You will love it. It's like you're there with them. Cannot fault it, really. Even, obviously, the extras nail it. The first scene is like the first trailer, basically, just a bit extended. And the emotion and the fear and everything, and the cold Like there's a lot of emotions in there and feelings that are hard to express artificially. All the actors excel at that. Really, really excel. So, if you want to see some damn good acting this year, hit up The Revenant, definitely. Next, we have Threading. Does it tell an effective and immersive story, if that's its goal? Yes. Yes, it does. You feel part of Leonardo DiCaprio's struggle and what he's attempting to do. Their loose ends are tied up. You find out how certain things happen to certain people. There may or may not be flashbacks. I'm not saying anything. But you find out about characters and people and events, and you know, it helps tie the story together. Even without that, it would still work as a very effective story, and standalone without knowing about characters and things, you'd be absolutely fine. It just works really well. Really well as a story. I'd pay to watch it again when it comes out. Definitely. It's the thing. One of the films to see this year. I'm saying that, like, it is one of the films to see this year, and you will enjoy it. If you don't, if it's not your thing, it's kind of drama, a bit of action. Maybe not thriller-esque. Oh, quick snapshot back to the sound design ever so slightly. Music was great, built tension, built any kind of emotion that you needed. Like the last scene, well, the last part of the film, the final act, I suppose. Ridiculous with the music, works so well, the drums and... Anyway, continue with the threading. Story is great. You leave fulfilled pretty much at the ending. Quick spoiler alert, not really a massive spoiler, but spoiler alert here. At the end of the film, you kind of like, oh yeah, he did, or oh, he didn't. All I'm saying, once you see the film, you'll get that. But yeah, there you go. But I'd say overall it was fulfilling. Even the ending was fulfilling, because in my head I'm like, yeah, he did. He did. That's what I'm going to say. All good now. No more spoilers. Moments. I'm going to whack this here. Memorable moments in the film. Maybe a quick spoiler alert for this. His fight with the bear. Undeniable. Ridiculous. It's so good. The fact that he had to act that with no bear kind of blows you away. And the injuries he sustains. Woo! Ridiculous. Ridiculous. And you see, it might make you gag, to be honest. It's done really well. Anyway, that, and also just how good some of the scenes look. There'll be parts where it's just panning up at trees and you're like... And literally nothing's happening. It's panning through trees and there's some sweeping shots. But everyone in the cinema transfixed on the screen. Nobody like all chatting to their mates or looking at their phone. Everyone was transfixed. They knew how good a film it was and was going to be. Like from the go that it said, the Revenant people were like, yeah, I'm down, I'm ready. And they were just literally transfixed by Inarritu's kind of his way of filmmaking. That's all there is to say about it. On to the last point I'm going to rate this on. Should Leonardo DiCaprio get an Oscar for this? Yes. Simple answer, yes, he should. Oh my goodness. He needs an Oscar for this. If he can't get an Oscar for The Revenant, I don't know what he's going to get an Oscar for. I know people have said that before in other things, but I think his elusive Oscar will be his. Like, in this film, he gets so filthy. Like, so covered in so much stuff. Like, his character has clearly seen Star Wars Episode 5, because, spoiler alert, at one point has to cut that animal open, crawl inside, yum yum yum, keeps him warm, you know, so he's clearly seen Star Wars. Anyway, alert aside, he gets filthier than that. Like, he gets dirtier than that peanut butter baby I've been seeing everywhere. Like, he gets covered in so much, and so much happens to him, it's ridiculous. The amount, like, my goodness, more shit happens to him in this film than John McClane in all the Die Hard movies. Like, so much. You're like, can all that happen to one man? Yes, it can. Yes, it can, and yes, it does. And he acts through that like it's actually happening to him. And you are like, whoa, you're not watching a film, you're watching live footage of explorers in the Americas getting fucked up. Like, whew, ridiculous. It's just so good. It's a really great movie. The drama, the acting, all in all, it is great. So, for Hotness, the film's getting a 10. It looks and sounds phenomenal. Like, absolutely phenomenal. Talking and moving. See, I kind of want to give that a 10. Let's let me think about the acting. I'll give it a 9. The talking and moving, I'll give it a 9. The threading, there's a lot of real stand-up moments, but that kind of makes it like a whole thing altogether. I'm not saying that a film needs to have stand-up moments, because if the whole film is at one benchmark, that's amazing. So, moments, I'll give it an 8. Yeah, absolutely. Should Leonardo DiCaprio get his Oscar? So, thumbs up from me. Yes, he should. So, all in all, average that out yourselves. I can't be bothered. I'll give it 9 or whatever, or 10 or something. It's great. Go and watch it. That's all you need to do. That's what. If there's one thing you need to take away from this review, it's watch the film. Guys, just watch the film. You won't regret it. If you do, tough luck. You spent what, like £8 or less, or more if you go to one of those cinemas. If you go to one of those cinemas, find another cinema that's much cheaper for you, better value. Right, I got it for a steal at £5. Granted, I didn't know what movie I was seeing, but still, £5. It's worth a lot more than that. This film. It's a masterpiece, and it may just be an instant classic. To be honest, it's gonna be a timeless piece of work. So I congratulate everyone who worked on the film, the actors, the directors, the director. I'm sorry, producers, just everyone who worked on the film. Phenomenal job, and I will probably see it again, and all of you out there should see it too. I've been BNJL. This has been the first official T.E.G review, so give it a like if you enjoyed it, comment your thoughts on the film, and share it around if you feel like it. Subscribe if you want to see more of this good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time.